Bingo Blitz rules.
If your bingo has ads in it,
That's not a bingo.
if it doesn't have the coolest tournaments, mini games, and the most breathtaking design,
Nope, not a bingo.
if your bingo moment makes you feel so excited that you just want to burst in joy and scream out loud, bingo! Sorry, so you're playing...
Bingo Blitz? Now that's a bingo. Go for a world of excitement with Bingo Blitz, the #1 free bingo game. Download Bingo Blitz and play for free.
Now that's a bingo.
Want to shop Walmart Black Friday deals first? Walmart Plus members get early access to our hottest deals. Join now and get 50% off a 1-year annual membership. Shop Black Friday deals first with Walmart Plus. See terms at walmartplus.com.
Money decisions don't have to be either or. With Bank of America, they can be yes and. Like yes to sunny vacations and rainy day funds. Can our digital tools and guidance help you create the future you want? Yes. And help you keep enjoying today, too. Do more with a bank that asks, what would you like the power to do? Explore our tips and more at bankofamerica.com/yes and.
Welcome to a new episode of Frosty Friday.
It's another Friday where you are getting absolutely fisted.
Oh, yeah, baby.
And I hope you recognize me because we've unlocked a new character. Last week, you heard someone, who knows who that was?
Someone say you sounded like somebody, but I didn't know who this person is. So
It's not Aquafina. That one time
No.
I sounded like Aquafina. That was crazy.
Let me.
And we're talking about the tone of my voice, everyone. I wasn't speaking like her.
You didn't have a black accent?
No, maybe I was speaking more like her when she turns it off and she goes,
Yep.
Who did that? I have no recollection. I've actually, that's never been me. That never was me. I don't know who you're talking about.
I'm getting to our Spotify comments so I can tell you who they said it was. It was, I don't know if you even know who this person is.
Well, let's see.
Kate Kennedy.
That's the name. Let me look it up. It sounds like a famous person.
I mean, it's because Kennedy
Sounds like a stage name.
Kennedy's at the end, so of course they're going to sound.
Well, and the alliteration. She's British. I have no idea who this woman is. She's in Halo, the video game, the TV series.
She's on a Paramount show. Oh, that is the Paramount show.
Yeah,
It's like High School Musical, the series.
exactly. Halo, the video game, the TV series. I wonder if it's not as fun if you can't. Do you think they do it like Dora? Like, you're choosing what you want to do, player? Which way? Do you want to blow up this person or this person? They also might be aliens. I'm actually not sure.
I'm not sure what happens in Halo. I just know there's a lot of shooting.
And I do know that I don't know for a fact. I'm pretty certain they have not tapped Beyonce to sing Halo in maybe the opening credits, which I do think that I might be interested in. If you're trying to expand to a new audience, if you incorporate that Halo that I enjoy and then maybe do a Halo Top Ice Cream partnership.
Halo Top Ice Cream.
It's disgusting.
It's
absolutely disgusting.
Frozen
Plastic.
flavored water.
No, it's actually frozen it's frozen packing peanuts. Like, it's crazy. And I think, like, when we look back on, like, diet culture of, like, the 80s and stuff, and then be like, oh my God, remember, like, the Special K diet and, like, all that kind of stuff?
That was the 90s.
That was 90s because we did that for prom because we all had almond moms. But I'm like, we need to, the absolute, like, insanity of, like, low calorie thing. Like, I'm like, yeah, we all know about the Haribo sugar-free gummy bears, everybody shitting their pants.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with that Halo Top shit.
Disgusting.
That's not food.
I tasted it one time, and I don't even think I got a full spoonful in my mouth when I said, who okayed this?
It's just like, no. No.
I'm pretty sure it won, like, product of the year that year, too.
Oh, my God. I bet it
see.
had an Oprah seal of approval. Not from Oprah herself, but from the Weight Watchers collaboration.
Oprah loves bread. I don't think she would care about Halo.
That's what I'm saying. The long-term Oprah Weight Watchers collaboration, I think Weight Watchers, without a doubt, if they're not directly profiting from Halo Top and they're in teams together, they're definitely, Halo Top exists because Weight Watchers exists.
I need to put Halo Top. That was the product. Because there are a lot of products named Halo. So in 2017, Time Magazine named Halo Top one of its top inventions of the year.
Who named it?
Time Magazine, a prestigious organization.
If it was Forbes, I would get it because that means they paid for the spotlight.
Yes, they paid for it. But Time?
I'm disappointed in you guys.
It also won an Institute of Taste Test award.
They had to pay for it. That's made up.
Lausanne, I don't know, Lausane Index Clean Food Prize, because there's nothing in it.
Do you think that was a company that was founded the same year that they won, and they've actually never held another contest ever again? And turns out it was just from the same people.
Probs. And then Food Disruptor of the Year. It was disrupting. I will say that it did disrupt.
Yep.
A lot of sense of taste, stomach issues.
Beautiful gowns.
Beautiful gowns.
We need to give that award of the year. The Beautiful Gowns Award. Maybe we should.
Our last episode of Let's Do It on But Am I Wrong, maybe?
I like that. Also, I did write down a pop culture 2024 prediction list. And I recently
you do that every year.
Looked back on it. And some things did come true.
Okay.
So we should read that too.
Yes, revisit that. And I'll come up with, because last time you sprung it on me, so I couldn't think about it. Yeah. But I'll put the thoughts in for 2015, which who knows?
2015? Excuse me?
I'll put thoughts in for 2025. What a simpler time 2015
I was about to say,
was.
What a year. 2016, shit.
Yeah.
Hit the fan. But 2015, wow, we were coasting.
We were.
Ignorance was bliss.
Mm-hmm.
We were like, I'm with her, Hillary all the way.
Yep.
Anyways.
But let's go back to Beyonce when we were talking about Halo. But did you see what's happening on Christmas Day?
Yeah, but I can't remember.
So on Christmas Day, the Texans, the football team, will be playing who I don't know on Netflix, and Beyonce will be the concert. I mean, so the Texans and whoever are opening up for her, and then we'll have a halftime concert. But I need Netflix to get their shit together because they are not built for live streaming.
No, and I thought that they were done with that after they failed about 5 times.
Yes, but I feel like Beyonce was, if we're going to have Beyonce, they're going to have to do better.
Well, it's probably her production company.
Yeah, but it's also the NFL.
Though. Ooh.
Yeah.
They're not great.
But it's Netflix's interface. Because it's going to be on Netflix. It's going to be on Netflix.
Why?
They have to pay a lot of money, clearly.
Is it just because it's a Christmas game?
I don't know why.
I have to assume because I don't think the Texans are
No, I mean, usually that game is on network television.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of people are going to be upset that don't have Netflix.
That's what I'm thinking. Also, I don't know if he needs to hear this again. Netflix does not have this kind of money to be doing this.
No,
Netflix is perpetual. And anytime you're like, oh my God, I can't believe they're raising the prices. I also hear you. Capitalism sucks. Netflix, the biggest lie you've been told is that Netflix has money. Netflix is so fucking broke, and they just keep signing checks. They're like, money grows on trees. Why can't we just print more money? and they just keep doing that. And so that's the thing.
I'm hoping that then Renaissance will finally drop after that on Netflix or something.
I did see a bunch of video posts of being like, it's not gonna happen. I know everybody's getting their hopes up, it's not gonna happen. But I did see someone say that they think that she's gonna do Coachella, and I was like,
if she's not on, they already released the schedule.
And I was like, I don't think so. And it was before they released a schedule, and they were like, I think that's gonna be the big thing, because what else hasn't she done? I was like, but
she has done Coachella.
So Stagecoach was one that I always said that I could see her doing, but I don't think she would. But I think she could also do her own country music.
Yeah,
festival. That would have been I'm I don't think she's gonna come do Cowboy Carter or Renaissance at Coachella. It's just not.
No, and I think the rock album will be soon.
It's gonna happen.
Look at that horse.
Now it's back in my head. You know that I literally walk around the house going, look at that horse, look at that horse, look at that horse. I love it. I could listen to that later. I do have to say, though, I have been avoiding listening to music because I have a very hard time not singing along. And when I am singing songs, I can... What?
So when are you listening to music when you're not able to sing along?
Well, that's what I'm getting to. When I go to sing a note and like no sound comes out, or the sound that comes out is wildly nasally, I go, I actually can't, because I'm ruining the music I like. And I'm like, who get that fucking squeaky squawk out of here? And then I go, oh, that's me. Uh-oh. So I've been avoiding the music.
I watched 3 movies this weekend.
Oh my God.
And I also watched the pilot of Ally McBeal. No. I understand at the time because there's a lot of effects and graphics, so that's why it was talked about.
Remind me again what it's about.
About a woman who is a lawyer
in
New York. And because we're in her head.
No.
So like there's a part where she's talking about how she wished her boobs were bigger and then they grew bigger and then it went away. There's just like so what happens is the woman, she's a lawyer. She's a little self-conscious because her actually it was her first boyfriend from when she was a child until they were in law school. He just like up and left her in law school, and she never really even wanted to be a lawyer. Really, she just went because she was
Elle Woods type of shit,
right? And then I think this might have been before. I'm pretty sure it was before Elle Woods. So then she gets fired from her job that she's at because of sexual harassment. Some man keeps grabbing her ass, and then he claims, it's an old creepy man, and then he claims that he has OCD where he just can't not grab women's asses. So then he goes around grabbing a lot of women's asses in the law firm to cover up for that.
Okay.
And so she quits, and then as she's walking down the street, she runs into, what was that?
My neck crack.
Oh. As she's quit, she runs into somebody else she went to law school with, and he was like, oh, I've got a firm. You should just come work with me. And then when she goes to that firm, her ex is there. And then he is like the best litigator for like sexual harassment lawsuits or something. So then now he's her lawyer too. Like they work together and he's her lawyer. And then like he tells her that she's married and he's like, I would be upset if I heard the same thing about you. And then she's like, whatever, the wife must suck. But then she meets the wife and she's beautiful and also a lawyer. And I gave up after that. So I don't know what happened, but it was just, there's the
that's
effects.
A show.
Yeah. I mean, I talked about the dancing baby before, but I thought that was more like
the musical episode, like the one-off.
No, I knew it existed. I thought it was more like she just saw it one time. I didn't realize that the effects, or remembered that the effects were every scene of the show.
Oh, wow. We're not just having a moment of reflection.
No, she is narrating the show and then things are happening. Like the things that are happening in her head that she sees or hears. Then
this is chaotic.
We see it. It is very chaotic. Maybe, first the pilot is usually rough.
Yeah. Well, the pilot of Vampire Diaries, it literally starts with, Dear Diary. And she's like reading her fucking diary. And then for the second episode, they said, we're not going to do that anymore. Yeah. Fucking weird. Wow.
So, maybe I'll pick it back up, but I don't see a world where I would.
You gave it a good try.
I did.
You watched the pilot, which is more than...
Well, I watched part of the pilot.
You watched part of the pilot, which, hey. And you know what? Nobody's saying you got to stick it through.
Right.
But you got to keep watching.
Was it David E. Kelly? Does he have an initial or did I give him an initial? David E. Kelly. And he's, done a lot of shows.
He didn't do Will and Grace. He did.
No. He did L.A. Law, Picket Fences, Chicago Hope, The Practice, Ally McBeal, Boston Public, Boston Legal.
Think I'll go to Boston. Oh, I can sing that one, sick.
Yeah.
Well.
Yeah. I think he was a lawyer at one point. Yes.
Did you know
his shows have to do with being a lawyer?
That the guy who played a lawyer on Jury Duty used to work at I think it was CAA. I think he used to work at CAA with mods, and then he like went to law school, and then he was like, fuck it, I want to be an actor. So like he is a real lawyer in Jury Duty.
He's a lawyer and an actor.
Yeah,
and
which is what they needed, because they needed someone because it's improv. They needed someone who knew all of that. And I was like, oh, that's funny.
That's great.
I was like, I know him. I love when that happens. I hate when it happens when I'm seeing something on TV and I go, oh no, I know this person. And with the tone of my voice, Mods goes, he knows we changed the channel. Mm-hmm. He knows that it's like, now we actually can't watch this. Uh-huh. It's been ruined.
Yeah.
Some things I can stomach with people I don't like.
I finished English Teacher.
What'd you think?
I was like, whatever, until the last 2 episodes. The last episode is
fantastic.
I think the second to the last one was my favorite one because Jen, that's the one with Jen. So Jen that was in Mr. Student Body President.
Yeah.
I thought that episode was perfect. She is so funny.
And so what I was saying on the live stream before, all of the names that she's referencing when she's like PJ, JP or whatever, like all of those things, those are all characters he has that he's created in his universe. And they're all so fucking weird. So like then to picture her with these characters, it's so funny. It adds a whole other layer. She was fucking hilarious. As soon as she came on screen, I said, I know who this is.
I mean, I know that she's been in Claws and has done big things, but like when she came in, because for you guys that don't know, I produced a show called Mr. Student Body President, and in the pilot she played the principal, but then she got Claws, so she couldn't continue. But then when we got to season 4, she came in for like a day and played the evil principal at the rival high school, and I couldn't be on set because I was dying laughing at everything she was doing. She
is so fucking funny. She's incredible. And in that whole sequence, I think we rewatched her scenes like 4 times. Like she was so funny. That whole episode was so funny. And then the last episode, like I loved. It was
I
like
did love
so
it.
like,
but I think I just had a.
Oh, well, comedy wise, I think that one was far funnier. But like that, it was so romantic in a way that I was like, oh, we haven't seen this kind of romance on TV written like this in this way. That I'm like, this is just like so fun. And I like loved. And I was like, there's no way this entire episode, like the through line is going to be poppers. And it is.
And it was great. I loved it. And then the way he showed up at the end, instead of, he did go to the orgy, but then was like, I'm good. It was sweet.
It was.
So I will say those last 2 episodes really didn't have the students in it. So maybe.
Oh, not true.
So I thought before it was like the students that I wanted to see more, but I just think that it came into its own those last 2 episodes. So I will continue to watch.
How do you feel about the mom with all the made up sex games?
She's hilarious. She's so funny. And then when she popped up in that other episode, I was like, keep her coming in.
Yeah, no, she's like the fan favorite of the whole of the season. It's like obviously what's the Mrs. what was her name? The blonde woman who we love.
I don't know what her character.
I can't remember what her character's name was. But everyone's like, she needs to stick around. I hope like we got to keep her sticking around. And I think everyone assumes she'll stick around.
Yeah.
But the PTA mom, everyone is like, no, okay, whatever you do, keep her and keep this.
Yes, like it needs to be random scenes because you can't get too much of her because then you'll get tired. But it's got to just be random scenes with just like random.
And the part where she's talking about, she was like, I need you to watch out for my son. Like puberty hit him like a freight train. Like that boy, like I understand. He's and like the hot, she's like, oh, Jason. And then he's like, why do you automatically know the hottest? Like, stop saying you know the hottest boy in school. And then she points to him and he's just a young boy.
Yes. She
quite
is.
Nerdy.
The mom is quite literally twice his size.
It was so funny. I loved it.
So good.
But I'm so glad you liked it.
I also watched Thelma.
Thelma?
Yes. It's about, I think you talked about it maybe, but didn't watch it yet.
With an F or a PH?
TH.
Thelma and Louise?
No.
2024 film. I have no idea what this is. Oh, this sounds great though.
So it's about a old lady, grandma, gets scammed, like one of those scams where they manipulate somebody's voice that you know.
I was talking about Beekeeper, which was the Jason Statham.
Okay.
Same premise though, except she kills herself.
Oh, yikes.
Yeah. This is an indie.
Yeah, this is an indie. She gets scammed. They use like her grandson's voice saying that he was in a lot of trouble. He was in jail. She needed to send $10,000 in cash. And so she goes and does it. And then her family's like, you got to go to an old folks home at this point. And she's like, no, I need my independence. So she tracks down the people that scammed her. Chaos ensues. And she is inspired by Mission Impossible.
I got to watch this.
It's fun. It's a lot of fun.
That sounds pretty much right up my fucking alley.
I watched a lot of old people things this weekend.
Yeah, I was going to say, do you want to explain?
Well, I watched this and then Hulu just recommended me other things as I was going.
Okay.
That's fair. Then I watched Barb and Star take Vista.
Entertainment?
Bob.
Or the city?
Hold on. Barb and Star go to Vista Del Mar. Sorry. And this is a movie with Kristen Wiig and Annie Mumolo. It was the strangest movie I've ever seen in my life. They are middle-aged women that I thought from the previews that it took place in the 80s, but no. They just like to dress and look like and live like they're in the 80s, but it's in present time.
Okay.
There is an evil woman, also played by Kristen Wiig, but different characters, who is mad at a town because they embarrassed her when she was a child. So then she calls upon her minions to unalive the people of this town with killer mosquitoes, I believe. And and then she's undermined by Barb and Star.
No. Okay. Is that one person, or is this a hyphenated name, or is that two people?
Two people. It's
Barb, and Star.
Yes.
Not Barb and Star, like Barbenheimer.
But that's how people say their name. Barb and Star. They're basically one person.
They're a package duo. Okay.
Yes. Let me, because I was live texting Avia as I was watching this because I was just flabbergasted by all the weirdness that was happening. And I'll just read a couple things that happened during this film. There's a lot of singing, just people breaking out in song. There is an evil genius that's trying to ruin the world. There's a child billionaire. There was a very close-up of a man whispering, and I was like, I'm pretty sure that's Damon Wayne Jr.'s lips. And then, yes, it is him. He's there. He's one of the hitmen. There's a crab that just started talking. It was Morgan Freeman. Kermit the Frog rides by on a bicycle. Mr. Peanut is reclined on a bearskin rug.
Was this made by the same people who made Sausage Party? Like, this is so chaotic.
No, it was women that made this one.
I love women.
I do love women too. Who's the writer? Kristen. Oh, it was the two of them. Kristen.
They had fun.
They did. It was also Jamie Dornan was in it. Reba shows up as a floating mermaid.
Cute.
It was just a lot of chaos. I enjoyed it, but also I didn't.
Well, that seems like a lot for one movie.
Everything that could be in a movie. It was in this movie.
Like, you didn't have a time to breathe. Beat. Always something.
Yeah.
How did you come across this movie? I've never heard of it.
After I watched Thelma.
So that was suggested to you after?
Yes. And then next I watched this Diane Keaton movie, Mack and Rita.
Wow, you're watching a lot of old lady names.
That's what movies. I said.
All of them are named after them.
Mack and Rita, which is about a girl. Well, she's in her 30s, but she always had like an old soul, and she goes out partying with her friends for her friend's bachelorette party. And she's just—it's not even like party. It's a day party in Palm Springs.
Okay.
And she wanted to put on some old lady clothes, and her friend was like, no, go get something out of my suitcase. So then they go out, her feet start hurting. They hear that Bad Bunny is doing a pop-up concert inside the freezer at Ralph's. And I was like, I know that exact Ralph's because we went there.
Yeah, we've been
when
there.
we forgot a mask when we were going for your birthday party. So we went to that Ralph's to get.
Yep.
Then she was like, I just can't go. I just need to lie down. And then there's some weird man that's doing like body work and has a pop-up tent. And so she's like, I'm going to go lie down. Her friend's like, that's totally fine. She's a good friend. She's like, I know that you like to do old lady shit. So she goes and lies down in this like old tanning bed. But she didn't think it was like actually on because it's in the middle of a parking lot. Like, what is it plugged into?
Well, I just would pick another place.
Yeah. So she goes and lies down and he starts saying this weird bullshit stuff. And then she gets turned into Diane Keaton.
Was she excited?
She was freaked out at first, but then she tells her friend, the friend totally accepts it. The way that people just accept it. And then she starts hanging out with her friend's mom.
So is it Diane Keaton?
Yes. Diane Keaton is going to hang out with the friend's mom.
Okay.
And her group of friends that like to drink wine and do old people stuff. And she really fits in and she becomes a old lady influencer because of her. She's playing Diane Keaton because she just has on Diane Keaton's clothes. Like Diane Keaton is just playing herself. And she has her wardrobe. And she becomes an old lady influencer, becomes more successful as an old lady, but then like needs to get back into her life.
So she hot tub time machines back.
Before all this started, her next door neighbor, who is played by the dude on Schitt's Creek, the vet, she has a little crush on him.
Oh, so he's in the movie I watched this weekend.
I've seen that he's been in quite a few things in the past few months. He's got longer hair now, and I was like, this is interesting.
Yeah, we'll talk about that.
So like he falls for her as when they're younger, but now she's like saying that because she's a writer. So her and Diane Keaton, she lies and says that her and her aunt, who's Diane Keaton, switched places because she's at a retreat. So her aunt's going to house sit for her. But now he's falling for her also as Diane Keaton. So it's like weird things happen, Weird things happen.
Yeah, we're not going to be able to watch that movie because Mott's has a incredibly hard time with body swapping movies when there's any romance involved because he just he's like it is that it's illegal, it's not allowed, that is disgusting. Freaky Friday is the scariest movie to him.
At least with this one, you're not swapping with an actual person. She's just herself but older. So she's not actually swapping with somebody.
So, I'm sorry. I thought you said she became Diane Keaton as like in the movie they say, and she went into the fucking standing bed and she came out and they said Diane Keaton.
She comes out.
Diane Keaton is playing her. It rapidly aged her.
Yes, but Diane Keaton is not acting. Like she's just being Diane Keaton.
But they're not calling her Diane Keaton.
No. She's still the other one, but she adopts the name Rita and she says, I'm Aunt Rita. But it's just her older.
Wow.
So this is a unique body swapping in that you're just aging. But
it's kind of like the M. Night Shyamalan movie that I watched almost entirely on TikTok about that island that rapidly ages people.
Yes.
And those kids go run and play, and then they say, we were having fun. We were wrestling and tickling, and now I'm pregnant. I literally watched a 10-minute fucking TikTok. I searched the ending of that old beach movie,
old island,
and I literally was like, I need someone to explain and tell me the ending. And I found a video that had millions of views, and I said, I'm glad we're all in the same boat. I'm not going to watch this movie, but I do need to know how it ends, and I need someone to like talk about how it ends. I can't just watch it. And I watched that, and I was like, wow, glad I know. And it was, of course, it was just all. Not spoilers, in case anyone wants to watch that movie. It was, of course, a science experiment. Of course, they were just being tested on.
Did they get turned back young?
No, Melissa, like 90, like all of them died.
Oh.
Except for 2 of them. And then they thought they died. And I'm pretty sure M. Night Shyamalan is in the movie, like playing the puppet strings guy.
Okay.
And then the 2 that they escape they like barge in at the last minute and they're like, we know what you did. And they're like, we thought you died. And then they're sued.
But are they stuck in old bodies then?
Yeah.
They don't get to be back young?
I think they stop aging once they like swim. Like, so it's like a resort. Like they're all there for like a vacation or whatever. Mm-hmm. And we find out towards the end that the reason why they're all there, like they all have like hereditary conditions. Like someone has like hemophilia and they've got these things. And the whole thing is that like they get these drinks when they first arrive on the island at the resort. And they're all like individually dosed for each of them. But it's basically seeing like if we can use this like rapid age generation and they get hurt, will their body heal themselves?
Got it.
And so they do, like if they get hurt, it like heals themselves, but it starts rapidly aging them. And so then some of them are just like dying of old age or whatever. And or some of the things don't work in the sense of someone who had I think it was a severe calcium deficiency. The rapid aging obviously made it worse. The bone density was like next to none. They like turn into dust or something. And so they all have like these things. And then like when some of them die, some of them don't. I mean, some of them die from old age, and then some of them die from like some of the accidents or whatever. But then like the kid who gave him the drinks or whatever, he like slips a note to one of the people or like said the first day or something like, my dad doesn't like the coral. And then like they remember it like after, but they're like, wait, they said that. They're like, maybe we have to swim out past this coral reef or like under something or whatever. And then like they get beyond that barrier of like where this happens. And then they did. And I wasn't sure how they got to shore nor
because you didn't see the actual movie.
Well, of course not. I watched somebody tell me about the movie.
This is bad science because you should have a lot of people that have the same condition so you can test one thing at a time.
Well, they had families. And so then the kids procreated, but I think the baby died.
With each other?
No, 2 kids from different families.
Okay.
They were toddlers when they were playing, and then suddenly they come back and they're teenagers and they're pregnant. And then she gives birth within a matter of minutes. And she still has the emotional, like, of a kid, of when they arrived when she was like 5. I hate this. Well, it's M. Night Shyamalan. I don't think he doesn't want you to be like, wow, I love this. I feel totally good about this. This does not keep me up at night. I don't find this unsettling at all. His goal is to terrorize you.
It's not about being unsettled. I just think it's weird. Did you watch the Taylor Swift one he did?
About the concert?
Mm-hmm.
No, Mott's wanted to watch that. And I said, no, not for me. Because my whole thing is that like I don't want to watch anything that is remotely I could relate to.
Mm-hmm.
You know? Like I still get scared. But like if someone's like, oh, there's a noise in the dark. Let's go. Let's bring in a Ouija board to like an abandoned farmhouse and do that there. And then if we see a noise, let's walk towards it. I'm not that person. I'm never going to do any of those things. And so I'm like, okay, whatever. Going to just a concert? Unfortunately, I have been that girl and I will continue to be that girl. I don't need to know. I don't need there to be anything afraid about that. Like, fuck that. Fuck that. Fuck that. Fuck that. But it was a good premise. We saw the trailer in theaters. We were like, what the fuck?
I saw it too and I didn't understand what was going on.
No, because the first teaser was like, huh?
You know, I don't watch trailers. So yeah. I have to watch them when I'm in a movie, unfortunately.
And sometimes those are the worst ones.
I know. And I was like, what is this?
Yeah, they really got to sell you on some of those movies. Yeah.
So what'd you watch?
I watched Hot Frosty. Is that what it's called?
The one about the snowman that defrosts and becomes a hot man?
Yes.
And then there's strippers?
No, there's strippers in the other one.
Oh, that other one?
Looks fucking good. Britt Robertson can act her way in any goddamn role. Give that girl work.
That's the one with
Chad Michael Murray.
I was going to say Michael, Chad.
Well, he has 3 names, words. So you can't expect us to remember all 3.
Yeah. Last night, I don't know if it was on last night or something because my Twitter feed was filled with
maybe it just came out.
Tweets, but it wasn't from just like people. It was from like Variety and all the trades. And I was like, why are they treating this like it is a blockbuster premiere?
Okay, I do have questions about that. When did it get released? Oh, I think it did just drop.
Well, all the trades were tweeting about it last night, and I was confused. All of them.
Oh my God, Variety! I need you to change this headline because Britt Robertson deserves better. Britt Robertson stuffs her stocking with man candy in Netflix's rote rom-com. Like, please don't do that to her. She is such a fucking star. She's a gem. She's a talent. She has been so she's kind of the is it Jessica Ritter? No, Jessica Jones. What's that act? Christian Ritter.
That's like you're mixing up her character and the person.
I was like, I have to separate it. Kristen, I would say she's had Kristen Ritter syndrome, where like she like is fantastic in every movie that she's in. She's done a lot of like indies and like just like great stuff. And she's been like a pillar in your life for so many things. And then anytime they put her in the center of a TV show, she'll get 2 seasons max. It'll be fantastic. And then they'll cancel it. And I'm waiting for her Jessica Jones moment to like really be like, she has that. It's not
Kristen
her fault.
Ritter is a star. And I've been saying
I
this
felt the same way.
Since bitch.
Don't trust the bitch.
Don't trust the bee.
I've been saying it since Gilmore Girls.
Oh, I didn't see that, as you know. But yeah, her. I thought I didn't like Breaking. Breaking Bad. Didn't like it, but
I don't need to watch a body decompose in a bathtub.
When she was on screen, I was like, I'm in. Like I love the show. Star. And then they killed her off.
Yeah,
I was mad.
I find Britt Robertson has gotten the similar kind of treatment.
I don't know who Britt Robertson is. Maybe I do by face.
Do you know her face?
I don't know. I gotta look it up.
Look up the face.
I don't think I know her. Let me look at what she's been in.
She's been in every TV show I've loved that only had 1 season.
I have not seen one thing. Nope.
She did For the People one season. I didn't watch that.
For the People was not good.
She was the recast, I think. She did Under the Dome, which I was obviously addicted to. She did one season, The Secret Circle. She did one of my favorite shows that lasted for 1 season, Life Unexpected, about a foster kid who wants to get emancipated but needs to find her bio parents to like sign off on this thing or whatever to like be done with the foster care system. And she like finds them and is like, hey, I'm your kid. Can you actually just sign this paper? And they're both like, wait, what? And like the mom is like, well, no, I didn't. I thought you were gonna get adopted. I had this whole like beautiful idea about how your life went. She's like, okay, cool. It didn't go that way. But like, can you just like fucking sign the paper? Like, I really don't need. And she's like, well, no, let's talk. She's like, I don't need all that. Like, I just need you to sign the paper. And then it's like this thing of her and the guy that she used to hook up with who had this baby together. I don't even think he knew that she existed. And they have like a radio show and like all that. And like, it was really good. And then it was canceled. 1 season.
Yeah, I know of. I'm looking at her IMDb. I know of the things that she's been in, but I never watched any of them.
Mm-hmm. She's been around for a long time.
Yeah.
So, I'm a fan of her, and I'm.
Oh, she was a Power Ranger. No, she's just in one episode of Power Rangers. But this was way after the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers of my youth.
Facts. So I watched Hot Frosty, and I will be watching now that I know that Married Gentleman is out. I'll be watching maybe tonight, maybe tomorrow night. So we watched Hot Frosty, and for the premise, anyone who doesn't know, it is about a man who is actually, in fact, a snowman. There is a large budget for this film. I can tell based on some of the music that is used. You can tell based on like the actors and the cameos. And I have to say, boy, oh boy, did I need them to use anything other than styrofoam for these snowmen. Like, it is so obviously styrofoam. And all of these extras are just like, when they're pretending to make it, they're just like touching it and like patting it. And I was like, I thought they were ice sculptures at first because I'm like, there is no fluff to this. Like, I can see the balls of styrofoam, like the little beads. Like, this is so weird. Lacey Chabert, I have many questions, as in, what was the bidding war like between Hallmark and Netflix to get her? Because like, yeah, she has been the Hallmark queen. And I know Hallmark is now putting a lot of their movies on Netflix, but there is like no Hallmark thing on this movie. It's not like that was like a producer or anything. So I have a lot of questions about that.
I might have an answer for you.
Oh, what do you think it is?
Did you see that lawsuit that came out against Hallmark because they specifically named her and Holly Robinson Peete in this lawsuit? It wasn't like against them, but they were saying that there were a woman that worked for Hallmark was saying that they had like a memo come out that said that people were aging, like their stars were aging out, and they needed to the face
On
Meghan is
Hallmark?
making is like, what? Like, this is the key. Like, first of all, Holly Robinson Peete is like late 50s maybe, and like the woman looks the same as she did when she was on Mr. Cooper.
That's also the
and that's the demographic, and that's what this employee was saying, and she was like, "This is the demo." So like, what are y'all talking about? Also, Lacey is like early 40s, mid 40s.
Yeah, probably early 40s.
She was like, I don't
understand. They don't put 20-year-old girl, like they don't do that. Like,
yes,
that's not what the
and
that's
so
odd.
And so I think that was it.
Oh yeah, I'd be done too.
Yeah,
it's with the guy who also plays the vet on Schitt's Creek.
Schitt's Creek.
The way that I couldn't figure out who it was though, because
it's his mouth.
He has. I knew him from something, but I couldn't figure out. He is doing what I refer to as the cardinal male sin. It's the wrong proportions of hair to facial hair. Mm-hmm. So we are getting completely clean shaven, but we are getting long hair, blonde. And we are also getting sideburns that are too long, that don't touch anything because there's zero facial hair. Mm-hmm. And it is alarming what his body looks like in this movie. And like I think we talk a lot about like women feeling the pressure of like Hollywood to like be thin or whatever. For men, the pressure to be like jacked, to have this idea of what muscular looks like, it was alarming. Like the veins are popping out of his arms to the point where I'm just like, I know he's doing push-ups before every shot and all of that. And I was like, oh my God, did nobody tell you that like you don't have to be this cut? Like it is insanity. It is like the level of like ripped and cut that you are for he's not like the size of a bodybuilder, but like the fat percentage to so I'm like, you can't do that for a month. They do that for a day. Like they do all of that lead up for a day. And I literally just felt so bad from the whole time being like, oh my God, you're so dehydrated. You look so dehydrated.
He was like that in Mack and Rita too.
It was a lot. And I do think in general we should not be portraying unhealthy means of attaining a body on. I think that like productions should be like, you know, you don't need to do this, and or we're gonna put your shirt on so you don't feel the pressure to do this. Mm-hmm. But it also featured Charles Boyle and not Judge Judy. What is it? Trudy Judy. What is it? Why can't I remember? Doug Judy. I was like, Trudy Judy brother. It featured them, and they're playing cops, so it just feels like 9-9. Like it really, and they're like, let's build a task force. And I'm like, this is a 9-9 reference. Like that's so funny. So they were really funny in it. But she's like given a magical scarf, and then she puts it on a snowman, and he comes to life. The way that he assimilates to life so quickly, I have to say, I'm pretty good at predicting movies and like what people say. I made a joke to Mott's pretending what he was going to say next. And I was like, of course he's not going to say that. That's the most outlandish thing ever. And this is a little spoiler for people. We find out that like her previous partner has died. And he is like going through her stuff because he's a nosy little fuck. This is his first day on Earth. And he like sees these like this box full of things. He sees the picture of the guy with like a little name on the back, I think, and then some medical records, which they did print the medical records in Comic Sans. And I was like, are we supposed to pretend that this is handwriting? Because that is Comic Sans. Like that's crazy. And he's reading it, and then I was like, you know, thinking what he's going to say to her. He's like, I have to ask you a question. It's going to be I think his name was Doug. Like, who's Doug? Or Danny. I don't know, something. And I thought that's what he was going to say, because that's what, of course, he would say. But I made the joke to Mods that I'm like, what's cancer? The first words out of his mouth. so what's cancer? And I was like, oh my fucking God. And it was like her so earnestly explaining, and like she's playing that role. She's playing her Hallmark role, and he's being like a goofy goober. And she's explaining what cancer is. Like, cool, sick. And then he almost dies. But they don't really alert to the fact that they end up together in the end. And somehow with True Love's kiss, he becomes human.
Okay.
It does feel like a direct one-up from the Night Before Christmas, KNIGHT, when A Night from the Round Table ends up in modern day, and Vanessa Hudgens and him fall in love and have to decide whose world, your world or mine.
Did she have any things come out?
Well, I'm waiting for the next Princess Switch movie, and it's not out yet, and I don't know that they're making it, but she doesn't have any. And it's sad, but inevitable that they are expanding to other people. And it makes me devastated for the Hudge, because even though the Hudge has my favorite COVID quote of all time, I like to see my girl in Aldovia, in Belgravia, in all of those made up places. They reference her. And also they do watch the Lindsay Lohan Christmas movie, and she goes, oh my God, that's just a girl I went to high school with.
I did see that clip.
So it's definitely not my favorite, because I like when everybody's in the same movie. These people everybody was in a different movie. And like that.
Explain what that means.
So like Lacey Chabert is playing like the straight man, like without a doubt, like so earnest, so sweet. And like you believe her, like she's good at that. She's great at that. But then the snowman is it like being like hee ha ha, like jokey joke. And I'm like, does she even understand your jokes? Like, they're not like, they sound like they're all talking at each other, not to each other. Okay. Which is like, I find in movies where they're all in a different movie, where you're like, they're written as really well as characters, but they're like, their interactions are just like a little off. And then for like all of the side characters, it's like a totally different movie. Like, I'm like, I don't know if they've ever even met each other on set. So I think as a concept, it was cute, but it definitely wasn't my favorite, because it wasn't so crazy out there, but it was out there enough that you're like, this is odd. But like, it wasn't like, it's like there weren't grandparents drinking lean in bed, you know? And like, I'm like, if you want to be like, it was like half Hallmark, half Netflix, which I'm just like, go all the way. Go like, either we don't have, this isn't airing on TV, like we can be explicit and like really go for it, or don't. And they had like some suggestive jokes, but I'm like, you could go for more, because you don't need to be wary of it. They then send me on a deep dive about this actor who grew up in the Northwest Territories of Canada, in like the one big city there is. And it's like a huge place, but it's like so minuscule and tiny small. And it like sent me on this whole thing about this place called Yellowknife, Canada. And he's like very, because I like looked on his Instagram. I was like, this man is like so passionate about some scholarship. Like, is this his scholarship fund? Like, why? Every post of his is like a new person who was awarded this scholarship. And I was like, okay. And then I look it up and I was like, oh my God. Yeah, this is a scholarship for the arts for this tiny fucking place where this is like one of the only populations of that, of like I think it's like 44,000 people live, or 400, let me see. But yeah, it's like literally like incredibly close to the Arctic Circle. And the population of the city is 20,000 people, like a little over 20,000, not even 21,000. And the population of the Northwest Territories as a whole is 44,000. So half of them live in this like little spot, but the rest of like vast majority of it is like land, like just land. And I was like, oh, so of course this man is absolutely obsessed with this scholarship that gets these kids out, and like, because it's a lot of like self-sustaining community for the arts. Like I don't think those arts programs, I was like, oh, okay, this makes sense. But then I just learned a lot about Canada. I'm always learning about Canada.
Interesting.
That's what happens when you watch Christmas movies. You'll learn a lot about Canada.
Yeah. Or people pretending like they're non-Canadian.
Yeah. And then you go, where are these people from? Because that's not how we say this word here. Or they'll be like, yeah, I'm from Chicago. Except they'll say it in like, oh, I'm sorry, I'm from Chicago. And you're like, are you? Are you? So it was a Canada lesson for me.
Canada Dry.
Oh, I could kill for ginger ale right now. Someone got it on the plane and I was like, fuck, that looks good. Oh, speaking of, my flights went to Denver.
Mm-hmm.
The planes were very empty on the way there, super empty. On the way home, and then we had a layover, which was, we literally just like walked to the next gate and got on the plane because, yeah, there was not as many direct flights later in the night.
Oh, I was like, that is a quick layover.
No, Melissa, it was literally like we flew to Arizona, which was about an hour.
Uh-huh.
And then we were there for about 20 minutes and then we boarded the flight and then we flew from Arizona to LA, which is about an hour. So I was like, okay. So it was not, I thought it was going to be like so fucking annoying, but it really wasn't because both of the flights are short and the layover was short. But that flight was also empty. The flight to Arizona and the flight from Arizona to LA, super fucking empty.
There used to not be a direct flight from here
there's only
to Arkansas.
Yeah, now there's one.
There's one. And it's the best flight.
I love it.
But I had to connect through Denver, and my flight was I was usually the only person on the plane. Yeah,
Denver, huge fucking airport. But we finally get to the we board the last plane. Met a lovely person who listens, or not listen. Maybe they don't listen, but I met a lovely person who says they've been watching my content forever. Okay. And then they responded to my story of me with my bloody sock, and I was like, I wonder if that's how they were like, oh, it's definitely her. She's wearing the same socks.
That's disgusting.
Yeah, I had to. But I hear about 2 rows behind me is the exit row, and I hear them going over the plan for the exit. I have my AirPods in, and I have to pause what I'm listening to because I go, did I hear that right? Because I heard 37. And I was like, hold on. What was the number before that 37? I've been riding on 737s this whole fucking time. And I'm wondering if maybe why that was these goddamn planes were so fucking empty.
Oof.
And I was so nervous, but so happy I did not realize that before the 3 other flights I had taken. And then I immediately turned to Mons and I go, do you hear that? He goes, yep. And I go, we got it. He goes, check what flight we're on for Christmas. I got you, without a doubt. I was terrified. And then it so happens that was the only flight that had an insane amount of turbulence. And I was like, no, because now I'm worrying about everything. I closed the windows. I'm like making sure everybody else's windows are closed. I'm like, I don't want any of us get sucked out. Shut those things. Whew, I was stressed. But I trusted the flight attendants.
Yeah, that's who you got to keep an eye on.
I could tell that there was one passenger who was crushing hard on one of the flight attendants, and she was like having fun with it. I wouldn't say she was entertaining it, but like it was enough that I go, I don't think she wants this man dead. So I think if there was something wrong, she would go, get off the plane.
Yeah.
So that was a lot. And this a reminder for everybody, check what planes you're on.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad that I'm talking to you.
I know, I'm here. Melissa, I goddamn took a fucking picture of the like little pamphlet that says 737. And I almost tweeted being like, if anyone wonders what happens to me. But then I was like, no, I can't put that in the universe. No. But I took the picture for myself. I almost did. And then I have this picture of me reaching for Mons' arm after I realized we were flying on a 737.
As y'all have a seat between you.
Yep.
Why did you... Wait, hold it back up. So you're by the window? I would have immediately moved.
Well, here's the thing. What's going to kill me? Walking by people and like having them see me. I was already there. I wasn't moving.
You could have just moved one seat over.
I could have, but I was feeling pretty sick at that point. And I was like, if I go, I go. But I was a little nervous. And yeah, I cut my toe.
That was gross.
It finally stopped bleeding. I thought I was being so dramatic. Because, like, you know, you like stub your toe and then you're like, ah. And you, like, kind of hobble for a bit and you, like, squeeze it and you hold it. And then, like, after a couple minutes, you're like, okay, I'm good. That moment, like, didn't come. And I was like, I was like, is it the altitude? Like, why the fuck is this hurting so bad? I look down, blood through my sock. There's blood. I take the sock off. It's everywhere. I, like, sliced my toe, like, the cuticle, as well as, like, banged it.
Do you have a toenail?
As of now, I do.
Okay.
Mott's has been the one changing the Band-Aids and looking at it because, like, I just can't. I get really lightheaded. So he said that he hopes that the toenail remains. He's unclear if the toe is totally broken because sometimes my pinky toes just look like that. But I've had to work on the circulation part because like the worst thing you can do is get a cut on like your feet if you have Raynaud's, and like it has a really hard time healing. So, yeah, that was my life. Thanks for listening. I'm so happy I survived the Boeing 737. And I've been taking lots of pictures of the things that have been coming out of my nose, and I've been enjoying looking at them.
Disgusting.
It's satisfying, though.
Yeah, I didn't watch your TikTok of you clearing out your nose, but I watched the first 2 seconds where you were shaking the bottle. Why did it sound so thick?
That's a good question.
It sounded like mac and cheese.
I think maybe I had a little bit too much air in there. I think I should have filled it up a little bit more. I think it was really sloshing. Well, you missed the second one because I haven't posted that one yet. But I was shaking it.
I didn't miss it.
Yeah, because it doesn't exist yet. I was shaking it, and I did forget to close it all the way, and it fully squirted me in the face.
You always gotta be ready for what things flying at your face.
Yeah, and I literally went, ooh, money shot. Maybe I'll post that. But nothing good came out of that. A lot of good shit came out of my nose today, but I was like, nothing's going to come out. So I didn't clog the sink. And so like it slipped away so quickly. I wasn't able to see it.
All right. Well, that was another rousing episode of Fisting Friday. Hope you enjoyed. Next week, there won't be a new episode, but there'll be something up. We got to spend time with ourselves and celebrate Thanksgiving, Black Friday. And if you're in our Patreon, you might know of something that's happened.
Join the Patreon.
First dibs. All right. I don't know why you made that haunted noise, but okay. We will see you on Monday for But Am I Wrong? Tuesday for See You Next Tuesday. Thursday, a replay of a former episode of Don't Blame Me. I'm sure it'll be a good one too.
Yeah, we're not going to pick a bad one.
Yeah. All right.
Fist you later.
Bye-bye.
Ladies and gentlemen.
What are you doing?
What do you mean?
Just keep it simple.
I'm making the promo.
Just keep it simple. Just say, hey, we're the Brav Bros. Two guys that talk about Bravo.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we're the Brav Bros.
No.
Oh.
Dude, stop with the voice. Just keep it simple.
I've seen promos on TV, dude. This is how you get the fans engaged. This is how you get listeners. We're trying to get listeners here. If we just say, oh, we're two dudes that talk about Bravo, people are going to get tired of it already. We need some oomph.
All right, then fine. Let's try to do it with your voice.
Brav Bros.
Good job.
Hi, this is Rob Benedict.
And I am Richard Spate. We were both on a little show you might know called Supernatural.
It had a pretty good run, 15 seasons, 327 episodes.
And though we have seen, of course, every episode many times, we figured, hey, now that we're wrapped, let's watch it all again.
And we can't do that alone. So we're inviting the cast and crew that made the show along for the ride. We've got writers, producers, composers, directors, and we'll of course have some actors on as well, including some certain guys that played some certain pretty iconic brothers.
It was kind of a little bit of a left field choice in the best way possible.
The note from Kripke was, he's great, we love him, but we're looking for like a really intelligent Duchovny type.
With 15 seasons to explore, it's going to be the road trip of several lifetimes. So please join us and subscribe to Supernatural Then and Now.
Hi, I'm Laura Cathcart Robbins, and I am the host and creator of the podcast Only One in the Room. Every week, my co-host Scott Slaughter and I invite you to join us and lose yourself in someone's incredible Only One story. We talk to real people dealing with issues like infertility, the death of a loved one, human trafficking, and women who, fake it. Oh, and we want to be fair, so we talk to celebrities too. Emmy winners like actor John Cryer, supermodels like Amber Valletta, and rock stars like Ryan Dusick. Everyone is invited to share their Only One story with our listeners. With 21 seasons and counting, we guarantee you that Only One in the Room has a story that you'll connect with. This podcast is for anyone who has ever felt alone in a room full of people, which is to say that this podcast is for everyone. Download Only One in the Room on Apple or Spotify today.